Happy Tuesday in the making. So, well, what can I say? Good morning. That's all I can say right now. It's funny how 1 minute. Yeah. It's funny. Let me see if I could. Let's see. What am I trying to do here? Interesting. Nothing comes up. So I'm out here again this morning. One of my favorite spots to be coming to lately is this place right here. And like I said, I've been getting up to run anytime that I want lately. Don't get me wrong, I'm still getting up I've been up since about 2:22 this morning. The only thing is, I spend more time with my yoga and meditation right now. So the whole yoga and meditation is taking me about 5 hours, because that way I don't have time to be thinking about the what if. So then I come out and do a quick 16 miles. So I've been spending 4 hours on my feet. So that's it's like a 9-hour a day thing. Yeah, so I just be coming out there 9 hours a day. And I would just kind of get used to this new town. And see what happens by the end of the year. Because it's almost that time, the end of the year anyway. So I'm just sort of thinking, what kind of an impact can I make in my surroundings here is what I'm thinking of right now. What kind of an impact? What do I have to offer around here? As you can see, hello Dan Lee. As you can see, this running meditation thing, and it's very funny how I've really slowed down a lot lately. So basically, my emotions of today is actually coming from slowing down. Just looking at all these lanes right here, I kid you not. You will pray and pray to your higher self, and you will get an answer. Even though it might not be the answer that your ego wants. But an intuition, revelation, or whatever you want to call it, will truly come up to you. That's just not a doubt. So what I've just been doing is I've been really slowing down a lot on these runs. When I have a camera in me now, I started to walk. That way I can see what's both in front of me, and if any comments or hellos come in. The good thing about being able to do this is the whole being flexible yoga. So I can actually stop doing my run and walk for about 10-12 minutes, and I'll still be okay, continue my running again. And that is just because at the end of the day, the way I look at it, whether you're walking or running, all you're doing is putting one foot in front of the other. Because no matter what it is, your GPS or whatever it is will say 1 mile and 1 mile to the other person. So it doesn't matter how fast you get there or how slow you get there. So it makes this running more of a meditative, which has always been anyway, you know, to be able to stop and look around you. And because when people hear running, sometimes running can be an intimidation to some people, and especially if you're not somebody that runs a lot, you might get intimidated when you see people running, the way how fast they move. But from my experience of running, at the end of the day, I know that when most people pass me, I always catch them up at mile 15. So that's not really a big deal. Here's Blake. So that's not really a big deal. So being able to slow down and reflect, think on why I'm doing this, just love this whole environment. I think running, walking, jogging is one of the most powerful meditation that we have around us as human beings, even though we don't want to accept it. Running is one of those things that it'll heal an addiction, whether one wants to believe it or not, even though we don't try to put it in the front. Running will heal depression. Coming out to jog and do it will heal depression. Especially if you make it a habit every day, you get up and run. The whole ideology of getting depressed will begin to disappear, and the chemical that really causes it will begin to deactivate itself, shall I say. So that's the thing about endurance running. So if you truly want to heal yourself mentally, spiritually, get into endurance running. And I'm not talking about just running 5K. And I'm talking about running marathon, up on the marathon. Then really get into running the 50 milers, the 100 miles. It doesn't matter what it is, it'll cure it. And that's what people don't like to talk about. Because most of the things that we go through, it's just based on the chemical imbalance that we have. But endurance running also means the time to think. A lot of people don't take it serious, especially when you don't push your body that far. It's very easy to be closed-minded, especially when you see somebody going that far. You just cannot elaborate it. It's almost like sometimes endurance running almost it allows me to question who God is and who I want to call God. So the whole ideology of another person standing in front of me, in front of the podium, telling me this is how God is, it begins to come as a question mark. And that's why I like when I go back into my primitive mode as a human being. That's why I love the fact that when you look at all these scriptures that is written from the Bible, the Quran, all these books, these guys were actually thinking, even though we've had different things. And that's what I like about the yogi texts or the Buddhist texts, because most of those things, it hasn't really been tampered with. So you were able to sit down and actually do a godly debate and think in your head. So for me, when I'm talking about psychology, physiology, a lot of people that think, oh, I majored in psychology, I know better than you. The truth about the brain is, in order to understand the brain, it has to involve movement. You could read all the psychology books in the world, But if you're not the type that moves, the only part that you understood in psychology is just the tell people what to do, but I don't need to do it part. So that's the thing about this whole thing called psychology, the human body. If you are not moving, you just will not understand it properly. The brain is just so unique like that, because our emotion has a lot to do with how much we can sustain physical pain. So it has a lot to do with that. So you really, and that's the reason why the whole Buddhist philosophy, the Tao, the Jain, I really, really loved it. To me, when I saw those things, I realized, wow, I want to be like this, guys. I want to be able to control my mind. And that's why it is very easy for me to laugh at some of my friends, because until you could sit in a small place, and I'm talking about a round place, or let me just put in an example. Practice yoga every day for 2 hours by yourself. Just by yourself. 2 hours. Because a lot of people always talk about, oh, I can't spend that time with myself. Oh, I have anxiety. No, you don't have anxiety. It's just, there's just something in the mind that you fail to put a break on. Because if you are truly, truly locked up in a space where you have nowhere to go, you will become a yogi. You will pray. So I just had a debate that I sort of looked, because a lot of time most people think because I have a degree in psychology, I study mental health, I understand mental health. No, mental health, to study mental health is almost like sometimes when you're talking about mental health, you have to step out of religion. I have a lot of friends that went to AA. I even go there just to sit, just to listen and learn. When I go to the AA, it's one of the most spiritual places that I've ever been to. It really inspires me. It brings logic, philosophy. It just brings it all together for me. And I've noticed most of the people that I know that do well at the AA, a lot of them usually come from the Buddhist or running background. Most people that I've known at the AA that went into ultra running or studied some form of Buddhism, you rarely see them relapse. And it's not because that one ideology is better than, but most of my friends that just not open-minded with their spiritual beliefs, the relapse is over and over again. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful sometimes, because when I see my friends, the pains that they go through, I get it. I truly, truly do when I see people drink, smoke. Because it's very easy to judge those people, but I truly understand. Every day I'm so grateful, because there are just certain things. I look at life as mathematics. There are certain things, if you just don't know how to deal with it, your emotions will take over you. So to be able to control one's emotion, to be able to look from within, takes an extremely, extremely, extremely hard work. Our society did a good job in closing it up by, yeah, I have money, I have this. But I know that most people deep down in their heart, psychologically, they're suffering. Because that's one thing that money cannot buy. And that is how to have a peace of mind. That thing requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of hard work. It requires restraining from a lot of things that is fun. I am really, really grateful that I don't depend on no chemicals, whether it be drug or alcohol. For me, that's been really, that alone makes me feel wealthy, even though sometimes I want to complain. But it's also funny how when I look at the opposite, my friends that have everything, the stuff that they do, I'm just sitting there thinking, what the biscuit? They really challenge me. So this is what I'm looking at right now, and I really want to get involved in this mental health thing. You gotta take me serious. This is an issue that a lot of people face. Ooh, look at that truck right there. See how close it is. Yeah. Mental health, we don't want to talk about it. Most of the people that claim that I have a degree in psychology, you can be educated on mental health. They can teach you how to speak to a patient. But to understand where you're truly coming from when someone just does things irrational, first you have to understand yourself. And that means sometimes stepping out of the box of the fate that you were taught. Just think about it. Slow down. Because mental health sometimes has a lot to do with the food that you eat and the chemicals that you put in your body. And as bad as it is that people don't want to understand, sometimes if you are overeating, and I'm just saying it with a straight face, if you are overeating, it can cause mental health. And it's really funny that when you look in our healthcare industry, the mental health industry, most of the people that want to talk about mental health, they cannot control what they put in their mouth. It is time that we all heal one another. How can you teach what you don't practice? Yes, how can you teach? You want to study mental health? Get out every day, run, meditate. That's how you study mental health.